We live in a twilight world. I was thinking about doing a review or a look back at the year 2024. So you're listening to this now in the early days of 2025. So I was thinking I'll do like a review of the year and all of my highlights regarding my work. But really, the only one I could think of, or the only one that comes to mind like strongly, is the 8th of April 2024. And for people that don't know what I'm talking about, because I know a lot of people have got really piss poor memories these days and they can't even remember what happened 2 days ago, let alone the early months of last year. This was when the great American total eclipse happened, as well as the turning on of CERN looking for the ghost particle. And of course, like always, this sent a lot of the world, especially online, like we're talking like the truther community, the conspiracy community, the Abrahamic communities, it sent them bonkers, right? They absolutely went insane because they thought that this was going to be a big event. Yeah. They thought that these two events were going to be connected. And if I remember correctly, they tied it into some sort of passage from the Bible talking about an eclipse and the earth being ripped in half or opening up, right? Now, in the conspiracy truther world, in the mythology of CERN, a lot of people think that CERN is like a sort of under the guise of looking for particles and looking for the God particle and all this stuff. That's just a front. They believe that CERN is all about opening up portals, a portal to other worlds and letting demonic entities come out. So this time around, they thought that the CERN being turned on was going to open up a portal directly to the eclipse, and that was it. End of the world, right? They went absolutely bonkers. But this is nothing new. These guys go bonkers every other week. And to cut a long story short, I went there and done one of my illusion warfare reports. I got myself to CERN, just outside of Geneva on the French-Swiss border. And I was there. I was there the days leading up, and I was there on the 8th to, prove nothing was going to happen. But at the end of the day, it was going to be a win-win for me, right? Because if something big did happen, I was going to be there to capture it. If nothing happened, I was there once again to prove that people keep falling into this participation mystique of getting all hyped up and hysteria and fear-based over nothing. Now, it had my name written all over it, this one. I mean, firstly, me getting to Geneva is very easy and it's very cheap. Yeah. The main reason I can't go to a lot of these places because it's out of my price range. Flying to Geneva cost me like 50 quid. So that's why I went. And I had I live streamed straight outside of CERN, and I'd done a good job of like eliminating this illusion. And we can look at it either way, right? Either I stopped an event from happening, and this goes to a theory that if a real one goes to these places, nothing can happen, or nothing was ever going to happen. And I once again highlighted how the online community and the way they're so interested in talking about an event in exchange for likes, shares, comments, retweets, reposts. They are unknowingly, out of ignorance, they are participating in black magic. They are creating a magic circle around the fiction, and they are themselves diverting energy and attention to that fiction. Yeah, we're now talking egregore, a tulpa, a thought form being brought to life. And the problem is a lot of these influencers have a lot of followers, and these followers are now unknowingly brought into the magic circle around the fiction, where they're dancing and chanting around the fiction, bringing it to life. Yeah, they don't know. These poor unfortunate souls, especially the truther gang, the conspiracy gang, don't understand that they are bringing to life dark energy. They're bringing it forth. So in many ways, the stuff that they're trying to ring the alarm about demonic entities coming out of the ground, they're actually doing that. When they do the stuff they do with their online crusade, whatever that is, it changes week to week, but they're actually, diverting energy and attention to a dark fiction, and this ties into the Black Mirror. That's the whole point of the Black Mirror. It reflects a dark version of reality back upon humanity and so on. So they're summoning demons and stuff, which they don't understand. But anyway, this is a different topic for a different day. The reason that this whole event had my name written all over it is because, well, first off, the image that was going around regarding the Great American Eclipse was this one here. Now, technically, it's not the correct image because this is obviously combining the last total eclipse, which is 2017. But nevertheless, this was the main picture floating around the internet. And of course, what you see, a double cross, right? So once again, we've got a double cross, which is kind of my topic, my thing I'm exposing. The secret society behind all secret societies that nobody knows about. The top of the pyramid. I call them the double cross. They don't actually have a name, of course. I'm just assigning that symbol to them because that's how they behave. And that's what we're doing. They're double crossing everyone, getting everyone to fight and stuff. Next, the ghost particle. You know, my little symbol is the ghost army symbol, that little ghost. I talk about the ghost legion. Yeah. The ghost army. Yeah. The army of the undead. The League of Shadows. The jinn. All of these things. And I say, I'm not kidding when I say I think that they have an army of ghosts. Yeah. Particle beings. Sorry, not particle beings. Plasma. Plasma beings. AKA a smokeless fire and a scorching wind, aka jinn. And in particular, the group of jinn that are called the ghoul. And that's why I use a ghost in my little symbology imagery that I use here, there, and everywhere, right? So, the ghost particle, once again, definitely this whole event felt like it was calling me. And next up, the date. The date being the 8th of April, 2024. Numerology, 8 plus 4 plus 2. We don't add 0, but add 0 plus 2 plus 4 equals 20. 20, of course, being XX. 20 in Roman numerals is XX, 10 and 10. Now, I'm not surprised that the world went bonkers on a date like this, okay? I've been tracking all of the temporal points on the timeline, and there's always a 20 involved. There's always an XX. And of course, World Mental Health Day is the 10th of October. That's another XX. It always goes back to the double cross. And another kind of green light. I call it a green light for me to go ahead and make a move on this operation, on this event, and do some damage and expose it. By the way, I hope you can all hear me. It's raining heavily here. Hopefully that just makes a bit of nice ambience in the background. Hopefully it's not overpowering my voice. But anyway, the thing that they thought was going to happen, a portal being opened from the eclipse to CERN, and the world coming to an end, demons and jinn and all this stuff coming out, or the earth breaking into two and falling into a black hole. It did not happen, right? So it was a bit of a humiliation ritual once again for a lot of people in the online community. And I'm glad I went because, I can say I was there on the day that they turned on CERN, and nothing happened, man. If people remember, I hired a bicycle and I cycled around the huge alleged Hadron Collider that's below the ground, which in my opinion is just a giant film set, because most of the people that work at CERN can't even explain themselves what they do, right? There's plenty of documentaries out there where they ask people straightforward at CERN, like, what do you do? And they can't give a straight answer. CERN is very much like NASA. Yeah, and as we know, what do people say that NASA stands for? Never a straight answer. It's the same with these people at CERN. They can never give you a straight answer. But it's all compartmentalized. I'm sure those engineers who weld together all of those pipes and copper wire and stuff, that's a real job. They're really welding it together. But if you ask an engineer or a welder, what does this thing do? He's not going to be able to give you an answer. You're going to then have to go to the physicist and ask them. And even within the physicist world, that's compartmentalized. And the whole I don't want to get into it now, but the whole concept of atoms, electrons, neutrons, and protons is all comes from the Royal Society, these British Freemasons, the same gang that invented dinosaurs, the same gang that invented gravity, the same gang that invented the mythology around Egypt, yeah? These are these British Freemasons that have basically conquered the world with their mad, crazy scientism, atheism, religion, which kind of works in line with the Abrahamic religions, in that in the Abrahamic religions you have a priest class, and the priest class talk to God directly, and the plebs at the bottom have to then assume that the priest class know what they're talking about or have the power or they're the chosen ones. In scientism, in atheism, you have this group of, well, scientists, and only they are the ones chosen to talk about things like quantum mechanics and particles and atoms and physics and that. And us plebs, we're just too dumb. We don't know, right? And they gatekeep it, but also they're not, when you actually hear them talk, they're not too clever. But anyway, CERN, a massive film set. Yes, nothing happened. But one thing did happen. Peter Higgs, talking of British Freemasons and the Royal Society's dominance over science and atheism. Peter Higgs, the father or the creator of the Higgs boson, aka the God particle, died on that day. Now, isn't that fucking crazy? Now, here's where it's going to get a bit. I'm gonna give myself permission to go down the road of grandiosity here and blow my own trumpet a little bit. But ever since I went there to CERN and done quite a decent thread regarding CERN and how CERN is just a theme park and a giant movie set and all that kind of stuff, I've not really seen CERN have as much attention and energy as it did before. CERN was one of those things that in the alternative world felt like it was being brought up a lot, especially in regards to time manipulation and the Schumann resonance. And, people would always tie it back to CERN. They would give so much energy to CERN. It was unbelievable. And I kind of feel like ever since my thread on CERN, I've killed a lot of that energy. I just don't hear about CERN as much as I used to, which is good, right? Because CERN, in regards to theatre of the mind and existing in people's consciousness, had way more power than it ought to. It was a boogeyman. It was a god. And in regards of gods being a god of fiction, I think I killed that fiction. Or maybe it's just from where I'm sat and my perspective. As you guys know, I don't really spend a lot of time on the internet, and I could be completely wrong about that. Right now, Twitter and the whole alternative conspiracy truth world could be talking about it like mad right now, and I wouldn't even know. So maybe I'm just getting it all wrong from my perspective. But it does feel like ever since I went there, I did kill the god of CERN. We live in a twilight world. There are no friends at dusk.